All right, welcome. This is going to be the kind of module 3 capstone project, digital media project walkthrough that I'm going to put right up here on the top of module 3. And so let me just pull up the digital media project assignment, which has changed this summer. So I made a lot of changes to the choices. So there's going to be a limited amount of examples that I'll be able to show produce, but I'm going to try to find some that students gave permission to. I think I have some that would be similar to what I'm asking you to do from my Comp 3030 class. So this is the digital media project. This is basically if you've once we're done with module 3 and with critical literacies, one big takeaway of critical literacy is to be able to do critical literacies, you got to have students produce something. And so I am basically, that's your kind of project-based capstone project for digital literacy or critical literacy, is to be able to produce content. So one, you will know how to compose digitally, but also you should be doing kind of digital composition with your classes across content areas. So and critical literacy, the last step of critical literacy is to do something for a real purpose, for a real audience. So that's why my capstone project for Module 3 is a digital media project. This is kind of like the orientation is we're still in Dr. Hardy's school redesign program, where we've completed our focus groups from Module 2. And now Dr. Hardy is asking you to apply elements of critical literacies to showcase to our students when the new school year starts. So Dr. Hardy is asking you as a teacher to create a mentor text, a worked example that you would show to your students when you assign them to do kind of critical research in a digital media project. So you are going to design and produce a multimodal digital media project using principles of critical literacies. You will post your digital media project online either through YouTube or Vimeo. There's going to be a discussion thread where you'll post your link there on the discussion thread, but it should be either a link or upload an MP4 video file in the discussion thread. You will produce a digital mentor text to show as an example to your future students, and then you get 3 choices. So these are the 3 choices that I want you to do. So you're going to choose one of these choices to do your kind of like frame your digital media project. So choice 1 is going to be Hillary Jenks's model of critical literacies. So where you choose an important social, ecological, or economic issue that can be connected to your content and your students' lives. And remember, our hypothetical students' lives have to do with that school that we're kind of like simulating for a lot of these activities. Using these issues, you will explore the following: how the problematic is instantiated in text and practices. So what's the issue, and then how does it get constructed within texts and practices? You can examine media, examine who benefits and who's disadvantaged from kind of how these texts and imagine possibilities for making a positive difference on the issue. Choice 2 is you are going to do an exploratory video essay where you conduct a critical media analysis of an important social, ecological, or economic issue and how this issue gets framed in the media. So this is an exploratory video essay. So exploratory essays don't really state premises or thesis. They will state like research, questions, but there's no thesis statement. I think this what makes it a lot different than like an argumentative or persuasive research. Is exploratory research is kind of like starts with a question and kind of like explores the issues of the question using kind of critical analyses. So you're going to include analysis on meaning, access and representation, and validity of kind of how these issues get framed in media. And then the third choice is you're going to compose a digital media project using critical place inquiry, where you explore a challenging issue specific specific geographical place faces through intersectional analysis, either the ecological, social, economic, and geographic issues of the particular place. Most of the time, you would consider this as what place do you feel at home at, so the word and the connotations of home. Here are some possible issues. So these are just kind of like, I just was like thinking, if you didn't have any ideas, this is what you could probably do. Municipal or regional inequities in housing and the commodification of housing. So I have a student that did a really great job in my Comp 3030. She did a thing on housing in Binghamton. So I'm going to share Natalie's digital media project, because it would be essentially what this is doing. You can talk about intergenerational injustices entailed in the geographies of place and their connections to the loss of places and species. You can talk about access to healthy food, equitable education, or the distribution of social services within the urban, suburban, or rural geographies based on an intersectionality of racial, gender, and economic disparities. Okay, or there are myriad options, and if you still can't think of one, send me an email. I'll happy to set up a Zoom meeting, and we can sit and just kind of brainstorm a few ideas. So I have tons of ideas, so don't hesitate in asking me. Here are steps to completion. So you're gonna choose iMovie, Windows Movie Maker, Camtasia, Adobe Premiere, Adobe Spark. I think it's a new name now, so I don't know what that is. Canva seems to do pretty well on at least with, I think Canva, you might be able to produce something. Here's the thing, do not, I got it in bold, do not use PowerPoint and just record over a slideshow. Please don't do that. I mean, that's kind of essentially what I do for my discussion walkthroughs, but that is not what I do. Is not a digital media project. I don't even edit and put stuff on these videos I make, so it's not really a digital media project. It's just me kind of talking over a slide, which I would be doing in a face-to-face classroom. So it's not really digital storytelling. So don't think to do that. Please don't do that. Don't do that. Composition guidelines. This is kind of like just how different. I've done some research. My dissertation was on like how these come about being composed, and so these are some kind of. But it's just kind of me, kind of like giving you guidance. So I'll let you read through that if you want guidance, or you can just, if you don't want guidance, and try it, fine. But there are some good tips, so you might want to kind of like just skim through those tips real quick. Here is the project rubric. So I'll do content. Basically, I have three foci, I guess. Content, your rhetoric, and digital citizenship. So let's take a look. What I want, content is what I want in it. So you're going to have your own voice. You are going to record your voice. You should probably try to record it separately than your images. Keep your audio track and images track separate. It just makes for better editing. So some programs you can't do that. Some of the kind of like easier programs you have to combine the image and voice, which causes some problems. But I've seen some good projects where they've had to. But anyway, voice has got to be there. And then effectively, don't do the and we naturally do that when we speak and record ourselves, so you might want some audio editing software to cut out the ums and ahs and long pauses, like that one. All right, next part in content, your images and soundtrack. You don't necessarily have to have a soundtrack, but your images, you will need images. You need to have the appropriate Creative Commons license, including attributing work to author and artist. I always recommend try to create your own art first, so do your own photographs and drawings or paintings or collages or whatever. But if you can't, go to Creative Commons, search for something art or artist that will let you use their work, and then you attribute. And then last part is, can this theme connect to students' lives? So our hypothetical students. Will this connect to their lives? Design rhetoric. So some kind of rhetorics of design is has design elements inherent. So you have sound, images, text, thoughtful title, and ending credits. So you're just kind of, you have those elements, right? If you have that, that means you're rhetorically kind of designing a digital media project. And then effectively are kind of like ways you can edit. Uses text for captions, highlighting, and or anchoring images to voiceover. So I do want text, so you need to put like little text kind of big, bold, fonts, and kind of have text that go onto the screen. So text overlays that kind of will highlight or anchor your images. So you're just not going to have a voiceover and image. You need to kind of like put some text on there to kind of, give some context. You're not going to put a master's thesis up there overlaying what you're talking in the images, but you will need to use text. And we will be watching several examples during when we do our workshop kind of lessons on, effective uses of that. And then finally, and this is one that gets people dinged a lot, is digital citizenship. Is you got to go and kind of give a meaning or response to your peers' digital stories. So go watch a couple and give them, like one concrete idea why you like their story. That's all you need to do. It's an easy get. So go do it. Otherwise, you get a zero on that, and then when I average it out, it will take a 2.5, or you're getting a 3 on everything, and you don't do this, it takes it to a 2 almost. Yeah, a 2. Like, and that's nothing you can revise because you just decided you didn't want to really go show up and watch other people's stuff. So please do that. This is the digital media walkthrough. I will have some examples in the Dropbox we will have some examples during the workshop period. So there's like the last two kind of discussion threads. We'll be looking at worked examples and having kind of discussion thread-ish issues on what went well, what are the design elements, and all that stuff. So we will be practicing talking and thinking about all this in this module. So this is just the assignment overview, and I will see you in module 3.